There's a Cranky's hut here. He gives you hints on all the Lost World levels, of course. There is an espresso race here. It's very hard. It's the hardest one. It's the one you're supposed to do at the end, because the Lost World is the stages you're supposed to do at the end. But I didn't do them at the end, because I did them as we encountered them, because I want to get things done with. And here Cranky tells you about the Lost World. You're gonna finish the game by doing all the things here. And there's the big crocodile head in the center. And this is new text for this version of the game. You gotta beat Captain K. Rool. You gotta get all the bonus levels to find everything, to get all the coins to get into the Lost World. And Cranky is, of course, written to be a complete asshole, constantly insulting you and saying that you're not good at the game and telling you that you are... like, challenging you to do better at the game, and it's just kind of annoying. Here's all of the hints for the Lost World. You can, some of these get a little obtuse, I think? No, these ones are pretty clear, that's right. That's right, the ones with the, for the Lost World were actually pretty clear. Okay, this one's not clear. Down may be out, but right picks you up. That's a bad hint. But, the end is not the end. The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end. Anyway, Espresso Race for the Lost World. You will see pretty immediately that I was not supposed to do this race yet. Here's all the birds, and they've all got, like, near maxed out stats. Here I am with my piddly little 3 speed and 4 strength, and naturally I lost this race very hard. So here's what it looks like when you lose a race very hard. I came back to this later when I was finishing the Lost World, when I actually had Espresso maxed out. So, yeah, that was, this was the race where I really finally understood that strength is vital. Strength is vital in the races, because not being able to move past the other racers really hard limits your ability to move around and just avoid obstacles and get forward and such. Jungle Jinx, our first Lost World stage. And the gimmick of this stage is these bouncy tires that will appear here and nowhere else. It's these tires, and they roll along, and when you land on top of them, you get a huge bounce, and that's the gimmick, is you bounce on the big bouncy tires, and also, don't hit them from below, because if they land on top of you, then you take damage. So, you know, you gotta be careful. It's the big things. That's not something that you can ever... You just have to have it happen to you to learn that that's a thing that can happen. So, there's a lot of stage here. Down here, there's these Dixie-only blast barrels that you need to get the camera down there. I think you might be able to grab that camera with Diddy using a roll jump, if you're, like, very skilled at that. So, but you're clearly expected to just make sure you have Dixie at that spot to get the photo using the blast barrels. This is something you're going to start seeing a lot, is a crossfade whenever I hit a midpoint barrel, the star barrel, because, you know, I get to the midpoint barrel, and then I die, and I come back. And by the way, Gold Feather down here, like in the pit, where these tires are going, that is below the camera, that shouldn't have been below the camera, that wouldn't have been below the camera in the original version of the game, I'm pretty sure. But that you just kind of have to go down and not bounce on the tire to see. That was annoying. But yeah, this, you've got all of these areas where, oh no, there, you need to not dodge around the tire, because if it hits you from above while you're trying to use the blast barrel, then it'll just kill you and knock you into the pit. And you gotta do all the bouncing over all these spikes. There's all these deadly spikes you gotta bounce over with the tires. And it's mostly just annoying. Like, yeah, they introduce the gimmick, and they make a lot of different ways that you have to, like, do the gimmick, and it's annoying. And it's just kind of bad. I don't like it. Anyway, we cleared it, and that's the stage. Yeah. You'll note here I didn't actually have the feather, because I didn't actually realize that there were feathers. For some reason, I just, like, it didn't occur to me that there would be the gold feathers in the Lost World stages. It wasn't until after I did the second Lost World stage, where I did just find the feather, that I realized, oh wait, I never found one in Jungle Jinx, I need to go back for it. So, again, I cut that in just so that it was all there in the one spot. Here's a sword. There's an arm in the lava holding a sword. There's just a Kremling constantly on fire in the lava holding this sword. So, I guess some Kremlings are lava-proof? Because it's just there. And you cannonballs appear, and you throw them at the sword, and then you jump across where these hooks are, and after 3 hits, it sinks into the lava, and then it comes back out. No, the sword itself is alive. The sword is the boss, not the guy who was in the lava who was holding the sword. So you gotta, like, jump across the place and get the cannonball, and when you hit him, you have to quickly get away before he gets mad and, like, charges you. But, overall, fairly simple boss fight, once you, understand, like, how to move around and get over the hooks and how to dodge underneath, and the fact that you have to dodge immediately once you've hit him. And then after 3 more hits, in just sword form, the sword shatters, and then it's spewing fire and spins off into infinity. Into the lava. The lava is infinity now. And your Cranky is insulting you for taking time to beat a sword. Go into the swamp. It always, like, it's very distracting whenever Diddy does that idle animation where he just pulls out balls and starts juggling. Because he'll just do that while people are talking to him. He'll do that while in the middle of a dangerous area. That's his idle animation. If you just stand still for a few seconds, he'll just start juggling. It's goofy, it's silly, it's very distracting, I find. Anyway, here's Barrel Bayou. It introduces the swamp, and also these guys. That's Cloak. It's like a ghost guy in a big cloak. Down here, you've got Ramby. But over here, where there's that little croc head, there's a camera that you need to find. It's invisible. By the way, some of the cameras are invisible, and you just need to go into a spot where they are, and then you'll suddenly have the photo. That's another thing that I don't like about that Rare does, is sometimes they'll just make bonuses invisible. Like, you just have to decide to explore and go in this specific pixel, and then you'll suddenly get a bonus out of it, a bonus reward. Like, you're just not. It's simultaneously requiring intense exploration, and again, there are a lot of levels that very explicitly discourage exploration. And, like, a lot of times, like, even without the explicit discouragement of exploration, there's a lot of implicit discouragement of exploration, because exploring is dangerous, you will die, and then you'll have to redo large portions of the levels which become very long eventually. This kind of a weird bonus. You have to take the hint from the banana made of arrows to, wait until that guy has thrown all of his barrels, or, yeah, the arrow made of bananas. he throws 3 barrels and then moves over to the left, and you have to follow him, and then he'll throw the cannonball that you use to get into this bonus. So, like, that is honestly kind of a nifty secret, because, like, it's very clearly signposted with the banana arrow. That's something that Cranky gives an explicit hint for. It's something that you can see just by sitting there and observing that doesn't require, like, active exploration. So, like, that, I kind of like it. You know, and each of these cloak enemies has, like, a different set of things that they throw, and sometimes they'll throw one thing and go away, sometimes they'll throw the same thing a few times and go away, sometimes they'll throw several of the different things. These barrels, you just need to hold down the button to the right to get through. They're like this weird arrangement that looks very uncomfortable, but again, you just need to hold the button to the right to make them work. So here's another one. He throws some barrels, and then he throws a singer. So, like, sometimes after throwing barrels, he does something important. Sometimes he just makes an extra obstacle for you to get around. So, again, like, it's simultaneously requiring and discouraging exploration. Here, you're clearly intended to, like, bounce off of the barrels to get up to the bonus, but you just do a team throw to get up there, and that's it. And it's more of these manual rotating barrels. These are... they're like a pseudo-gimmick of this stage. Like, this stage has a couple of pseudo-gimmicks. It's got the cloaks, it's got the rotating barrels. Those are both things that do get utilized later. Like, they get explored as full stage gimmicks in later stages. But, like, this is another sort of, like, introducing concept stage.